Alser abete perro begerto. Yeta perro begelo que comin. Ba carnish be abierto. Yirs be abegelo que comin. Gene shakhakho khatarota arshanoto.
Shalom, shalom, brothers. Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Make sure I can be heard on this beautiful day. So today what I want to talk about is education 101. Childhood and brothers. What I want to talk about is education 101. Why is it that education is so important? Conversation that Means O'Can, Elder Samak had on Moreh yesterday about leadership and about preparing the next generation of future teachers. Now, we do understand that a lot of you young brothers and Morehs and ministers yourself have been hurt in the ministry, and brothers and sisters in general. Our hearts go out for each and every last one of you that went through any type of trauma in ministry, have went through any type of trauma in your childhood, in your adulthood. We definitely stand with you, and our hearts definitely go out, and we definitely want to encourage you. Again, this video is based off a conversation Means O'Can, Elder Samak had on yesterday, and briefly talking to Prophet Tobiah at Raleigh, North Carolina. Brothers and sisters, those of you who can be watching this video, there are some real good leaders by the ISREAL. There are some real good young teachers coming up in Israel, like Chief Rosh Hashanah is one of them. He's located him at the East Side, Mitzvah in Columbia, South Carolina, and they are doing a great work. So definitely, man, let's make sure we support the brother, his Isha, his ministry, what they got going on, because everyone needs support, without a shadow of a doubt. But again, we understand the pain and the hurt that a lot of you are going through right now, from different ministries, different leaders. And sometimes it all falls back on the education of the leader. Me and my brother Shem Kadosh, we had a good conversation too. Shalom, Mike Jason. That's another good brother. I want y'all to support Brother Jason too, his work he's doing. Working with the Egyptian timeline, support that brother, because he's doing a wonderful job. And I like to always tell him, man, not because I got some gray in my beard and I'm over 50 years old, I always tell him he's my teacher. And it is the truth, because again, we don't know everything. You know, the Most High used different brothers to teach us different things in our life, and that's a fact. There ain't no fiction. So one man, one woman do not know everything. It's a team thing. So when I look around now as an elder and I see all the brothers and sisters that are getting hurt in ministry within the community, then why is it? And what we can study today and what we can learn today, are these people really educated, or they just read a couple of scriptures from the Bible itself and they become more holy than I, and they start doing ministries, and they start doing camps. And when you deal with them one-on-one, or you deal with them in a private setting or a group setting, man, these folks don't know nothing. But they don't make millions of dollars off YouTube videos off our people. They change their doctrine maybe 6, 7 months. And brothers and sisters, yes, we grow and we grow and we grow and we learn. But we need to get to a standpoint now. Make sure you have a solid foundation in your walk. Make sure that your foundation is solid and that you're not like and where the basketball at? You're not like a basketball. I'm trying to find a basketball. This is how some people are. Let me see. Well, trying to find a basketball. Well, ain't no telling what my son did with it. Well, anyway, some people just like a basketball. They just up and down and to and from all over the place. Maybe again 6 months they have a different doctrine, and damn, the people confused that listen to them. I can't make this stuff up, brothers and sisters, and so that's not a good look within the community. And I always tell people, take your time, study, learn, and master one thing at a time. And that is something my teachers, my elders taught me, is to learn one thing at a time. Then what can happen is that your education, your level of knowledge and wisdom is going to begin to expand and grow. And so now when you are standing before people, that the people that listen to you understand that, hey, listen, these brothers have a good foundation and they're not changing up. So they're not changing up every 6 or 7 months. So they have a good foundation. When you see people changing up, brothers and sisters, so quickly, that's a red flag right there. You may not want to follow this person because they're not so sure of what the hell they believe or what they're teaching. And this is why we teach a language, and we teach a language because we don't deal with doctrine. We don't try to take away a person idol, ability, or whatever. We just say, listen, we here to teach you the language, the culture, and whatever you read and whatever you understand, according to your understanding, then that's what it is. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not wasting my saliva or my time. I just teach the language and the culture. That's it. I don't teach doctrine. But again, why? As an educator, you're going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference between a person that's educated with the power, wisdom, spirit of Yah versus a person on watching YouTube versus a person on set under a fool for many years, an idiot. And that spirit jump on them. So when you sit under unstable leadership, unstable people for many years, and you see the wickedness and things they did, if you're not careful, that spirit will jump on you. You will say, okay, you know what? My elders did it, so I'm going to do it. But then you ask yourself, who in the hell taught your elders? So now you are dealing with repeated issues and cycles and all type of stuff. And now you got people underneath you following you. Now they confused because they're looking at you like you the top dog. And now you don't fall from, let's just use the word grace. You don't fail from grace. And now everybody looking at you. Well, brothers and sisters, here's the thing with that. Yes, we are human. But I like to always tell people, be mindful of the type of situation you put yourself in. I'm not so easy to trust people and get comfortable with people so quick. You have to really, we have to really get to know each other, because some people want to get to know you to try to usurp authority over you and find weakness in you, and you got to be careful with that. So I want us to look at something. So when we deal the terminology education, and again, as a Hebrew teacher, when you start getting to a desire you want to be a Hebrew teacher, then you will start being exposed to certain educational books when dealing with biblical Hebrew. You certain books you may not find. You may have to reach out to scholars that at the university that have written books, that the books they're teaching from classroom settings. So now, when we look at the term education, right? When the accusation or transmission of knowledge, okay, it gotta have a personal meaning. Gotta have a meaning behind it. Okay. Now we got to understand as ourselves how and why is this thing being formalized, and what is it being formalized and characterized after? All right. We understand that the Hebrew word lamet mem dalet, okay, mean to teach, chiefly in biblical Hebrew. Sometimes you might see this word lamet mem dalet using the call. This is like the voice. You might see using the PL stem, and the PL stem can be causative. The PL stem, like to say D stem, can be what? Intensive. Very important to understand when we look at the term education, right? Another essence we can look at as teachers is from the standpoint when we look at Daniel 1 and 4. We can see that when they say a select group of young Israelites, they were sermoned by King Nebuchadnezzar. Why? They were smart, educated. Come on now. So Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was very educated men. The men of very faith. And they understood the divine purpose of classical, or what we better know as biblical Hebrew. Now, this word, lamet mem dalet, brothers and sisters, you will find it in a book, in a couple of books, in the Pu'al verb stem. That's P-U-A-L, in the Pu'al verb stem. And you will find it mentioned 5 times. One time in the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 13. And Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 18. And Hosea, chapter 10, and verse 11. In the book of Songs of Songs, chapter 3, and verse 8. And 1 Chronicles, chapter 25, and verse 7. And so you will see this word mentioned in the Pu'al verse there. Okay? It's very important to understand how lamet mem dalet is being used throughout the prophets and the writings and the Torah, when it's being used for teaching and being used for education purpose. Because now a lot of the people have not been taught simple terminology in how to study, how to make it make sense when they run a congregation and teaching the next future generation of young brothers and sisters how to study, which then leads us back to the receptive mind. The receptive mind is a mind that knows, a mind that is aware. Oftentimes we meet people, we think people, and they may know, well, they're actually going to tell you some mess. See, you can only fake it for so long. Because we're living in a day and time now where that a lot of people, brothers and sisters, are being exposed for their internal characteristics. That their internal characteristics doesn't line up what they stand before people and teach. And so we see all this stuff. Then we had the Hebrew word ra'ah, resh, aleph hey, which is to come from the third hey verb, and that is to see. Then we have the Hebrew word shema, that is to hear. Here, ra'ah, that is to see, that is to perceive. Then we have shema, is to hear. So we see Deuteronomy 6 and 4 that we read so much on the Shabbat and the Moedim, Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. The word Shema being used there is being used in the call verbs, them second master singular imperative. So Israel is being commanded, come on, to hear. And also being commanded to acknowledge that the Creator is a God, He is one. So when we look at the Shema, Deuteronomy 6 and 4, we take the ayin and we also take the dalet from Echad, and we get ed, we get witness. So Israel's job was to always acknowledge the oneness of the Creator. And that's something that's lacking in this community, oneness. We let interpretation divide us. We let release divide us, and we are so quick to go and quote Amos 3 and 3. But there's a but there. There's a but there. It's a conjunction. It is, what is it, or why did it mean this person cross paths? That's something we, as an educator, we need to be asking ourselves, why did mean this person cross paths? And what you'll find out, and what I find out, true story. When people see you don't believe the way they believe, they will cut you off, and they will go, well, I don't want you to teach me because you don't believe the way I believe. To me, that's a sucker move. What does my beliefs got to do with my ability to teach a certain skill set? So if I teach biblical classical Hebrew, I'm not teaching doctrine. You pay me for a service. But what I learned in this community, if people see you don't believe the way they believe, they want to hire you or they want to support you. They rather support a person that's a devil, living like the devil behind closed doors while perpetrating to be an angel in front of them. Let me say it again. Living like a devil behind closed doors. They will go hire them, but they won't hire you. But then they'll turn around, oh, I love everybody. I love my nation. That's a hypocrite. And we got to start calling people and telling us, listen, you're a hypocrite. Because the person you hire, what you know about this person? Really, what do you really know about this person? Well, they got a YouTube channel. They got a lot of followers, this and that. Did you do your investigation on this person about their characteristics, about who they really are behind closed doors? Well, no, I didn't do that. I just see what they be talking about. That's on you. It's really on you because that's your lack of wisdom. So I like to always encourage people and say, listen, do some research on someone you get ready to give your money to, someone you get ready to invite to your home, to your ministry. Really see who know that person before you really get attached to that person. And I'm trying to give y'all an example of something. Let me see. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm really trying to think of something I can show y'all. So I'm looking for something right here. I'm like, I always want to be a movie actor, but I choose a different path. But yeah. So that's what it is when we look at the term ra'ah, to see. We look at the term shema, to hear. We look at the words lamed, to teach, lamud, to teach. And so we see these different terminologies. All these are educational terminology within the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, the prophets, and the writings that help us understand our job as teachers and leaders and elders now, how we are to give back to the younger generation that a lot of mistakes that we made, that we try to encourage them not to make. And that's really having a good solid foundation education-wise to understand certain terminology, biblical, so when they are teaching their students present, past tense, then they understand how Lamed, Mem, Dalet function. They understand how Shin, Mem, Ayim function. They understand how Resh, Aleph, Hey is functioning in the different Hebrew verb stems. Again, dealing with their education purpose. Okay, I want to show y'all some more stuff. Okay. And another good scripture you can look at for as teaching, you look at a case, you do a case study in the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 9 on the word teach and the word no. Okay? So, let me kind of flip a little bit, because a lot of work in here, and I want to make it sense to you. Now, also, you can also look in the book of Judges 3 and 21. So, the root Lamed Mem Dalet is found in the Bible with just the sense, as a fact, as the sense is in the field of what we might be called husbandry. That's Judges 3 and 31, right? So then you can also look at Jeremiah 31:18, Jeremiah 2 and 24. So I'm giving you different places you can look at the stuff on the words. All right. Let me move on some more. So when you look at Deuteronomy 6 and 7, you will see the very unique word there in the PL word stem, shin, nun, it means to sharpen. Okay? Deuteronomy 6 and 7 has a unique word. The PL word stem, that's shin, nun, means to sharpen. Okay? Translated in context by the BDB, Brown, Big, and Bravo, as to teach. Okay? Teach what? We understand we are to teach our children, and when to rise up, when to lay down. Teaching is something that we should do. We always going to be doing teaching. It doesn't matter. We always going to be doing teaching. We always going to be doing some edifying. But again, anybody can pick up the book 9 and teach. But what about characteristics when no one is around you, when it is you? Who the hell are you? Do I know how to love my brother? Do I know how to love my sister? Do I know how to provoke thoughts? Do I know how to bring the best out of my brother and out of my sister? And those questions we need to ask ourselves. But some people head, like I always say, is like this rock. It's just like a rock. And I want to show you something. What I mean, some people head like a rock. So, bear with me. So what I want to do, I want to get a rock. So some people head in Israel is like this rock. Let me see, I get my camera down. Make sure my camera can see this rock. Right. Y'all see the rock? Let me let my camera down. Bear with me. Okay. Want to make sure. So, imagine you have a person teaching you the word of Yah, but they're trying to tell you something, but in reality, their head is like this rock right here. They got a hard head. So now you have a Moreh elder teaching you the word of Yah, who themselves have a hard head. That don't make no sense, right? So now, I'm going to show y'all what we need to start doing, telling people that have a hard head, what we need to do for them. Give me a second. I like to always show examples. I want to be an actor. Again, like to say, give me a second. And this is what you got to tell people. You have to tell people, tell brothers and sisters, say, listen, trash. You are so horrible as a leader that you need to go in trash. So again, what you need to do, open up the thing and put them in the trash can. Why? Because they're no good. They're not helping you. They're making you worse. So you dealing with an idiot. They have the mindset that where they need to be in the trash. Their mind is as just trash, dirty trash, and their mind is as is what break. Ain't nothing personal, but you gotta be honest. So what this is letting us know is the lack of education is within some people that look smart. They may seem smart on YouTube, but when you talk to them, their character is horrible. They're horrible leaders, horrible husbands. They're just horrible people quoting scriptures all day long. Hey, I can't make this stuff up. And again, me, Elder Samant, were talking this stuff yesterday. You got to be mindful who you pull into your inner circle that you feel that you want to pull this person to be part of a meeting or be part of a counseling. A lot of us lack the spirit of discernment. That's what we do. We lack the spirit of discernment. We like it, but there's a but there. We'll turn around. Yeah. I wanna go this place here and teach. I wanna go this place here and rush. Brothers and sisters, stop being a rush to go to somebody else's platform or house to teach. let y'all open doors for you. Because here's the thing. You get up in there and teach. You might not see the same thing, might not believe the same thing. And that's confusing. But here's where maturity comes in at. I can go to a church, I can go to a masjid, I can go anyway and fit right in. Because I'm not there to be judgmental. I'm there to get uplift or hear a word. It might be a word that the bishop might say. Could be for me. It might be a word that the imam could say, might be a word for me. I don't know. But if it's a word for me, encouragement, I'm definitely going to receive the word, because why? That's where wisdom come in at. Wisdom is not biased. Human nature is biased. And when you think about this right here, if I come into your life, that means the Most High had put me in your life for a reason. I don't come into people's lives to hurt them. I come into people's lives to add value to their life. Either to heal them mentally in their minds and encourage them. Why? Because a lot of us are still dealing with childhood trauma ourselves. And this is what I always say when we think about the aspect of education and why education is so important, even from a biblical standpoint. Education is very important. Okay? Now, this is another thing I want to talk about. It's called the retentive mind. The retentive mind. That should be a mind of awareness from a biblical standpoint. Okay? And again, to understand that, you can also, a couple of scriptures I want to give y'all. Again, I kind of just glasses going, skip it to my book by giving y'all scriptures to look at. 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 20. 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 5 to 7. 1 Kings chapter 21, verses 8 and verse 11. And you'll see some very interesting words there that you want to look at and meditate on. Okay, that is a retentive mind. Okay. Also the mind of what? Diats. Okay, dotted iron towel. You want to look at that. Why? Retentive mind, a mind of awareness, is a mind that's very conscious. A mind is aware of its surrounding. A mind that is so conscious is able to provoke thoughts and bring that brother, sister, minds up to par where their minds is at. Now, you have a bunch of intelligent, smart, educated people, ethical people that can move and navigate within society. You can put them in a way, and they can function properly. A lot of our people not function properly in their mind because they still sick. And this is why I always say we got to be mindful and careful how we teach and what we expose people to. Because, again, there's certain knowledge that is not for everybody at certain time and season. So we must use wisdom. It's a time and a season to bring forward knowledge to certain people. And again, certain people are biased, crazy, let me say that too, envy, jealous, don't listen to them, don't listen to that person. Wait a minute, you don't know what the Creator's doing? the Creator probably give them a word to help them. Come on. Do you know? What is your level? Your level of understanding comes from other brothers and sisters. They have studied certain subject matters that they are trying to help you, not hurt you. So if my brothers or sisters study a subject matter I have not studied, and they write a paper and they say, okay, listen, I have studied this subject matter and I want to share with you, kind of joy, because that's a blessing, because they took the time to write it, and the Most High get them divine revelation, and they want to. That's how you build a community up. You cannot build a community up hiding your hand in information. But here's where the sermon coming in at. It's being mindful, as me, Elder Samart taught yesterday, is knowing the season and when the season right to share certain information based on how you observe that personality and their maturity level. Because what we have seen in time past as elders, we have seen brothers and young brothers get information, took it, ran with it, and misused it, and ran people straight away from the faith. Straight out of the faith. They don't believe nothing no more. Zip. When they come talk about the scripture, oh, I don't want to hear that. I've been there, did that. Did you really? Why was your faith so easy to be removed? Why was your faith easy to be challenged and you give up? And that's a personal question, brothers and sisters, you gotta ask yourself. And again, my heart go out to all the brothers and sisters, no matter what your faith is, what your background is, that is dealing with trauma now, or have dealt with past trauma from a child, adulthood, teenage years. I want y'all to be encouraged and focus on internal self-healing. And make sure the person that's guiding you and leading you is educated enough and ethical enough to guide you. Let me say it again. I don't care who it is. Husband, wife, mama, daddy. If they're not fit, suitable, and ethical enough to guide you and lead you, then I don't need to tell you what you need to do. That's just common sense. Because if you don't make those changes yourself, you could end up 6 feet in the ground, end up losing your mind, end up doubting the Creator of heaven and earth. There's so many things that can happen to you. And I want to encourage y'all today, be mindful who you allow to teach you and lead you is very important. Be mindful who you allow to come into your gates. Okay? Everybody's not worthy enough to come into your gate. Because a person may seem smart, educated. That don't mean they're ethical. But it's like in my Hebrew class. You know, I had people to the group. I don't mind if some of you brothers want to learn, sisters want to learn biblical Hebrew. You know, inbox Araya, inbox me. Again, at this point in my life, I only teach advanced classes. Araya teaches a beginner class, him and Shamar. I don't have time to keep going backwards. I gotta keep studying, preparing myself to teach those brothers. So, and I think, I'm grateful and humble for all of my brothers and sisters in my life, all my homies, you know what I'm saying, all my aunts, my Akotis, Akims. I'm humble and grateful. And I praise y'all that that each of you allow me to come into your sacred space, into your lives, into your homes, among your family. And I'm humble in a way, man, it's beyond, it's like a child, you know, and I value that time that we learn from each other. So, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Any questions, definitely hit me up, and I'll be glad to build with you. Shalom, shalom.
Ba karnish be aberto. Yish be abega loke kumin. Gene shakha kho khatarota arusanoto.